What is up, everyone? My name is Adam with the Lavin Real Estate Group and Next Home Synergy, and I am here today to bring you 5 tips to think about as you look to sell your home in this first half of the year of 2022 in either Delaware County or Chester County. Now, the first thing that I suggest that you think about is if it's been a while since you've bought a home, or if you think back to when you were buying a home, 10, 15 years ago, the 2 big things at that time that really drove the difference between sales prices, other than your standard, square footage and zip code and area, really were upgrades to things like bedrooms and bathrooms and kitchens. Today, that's not necessarily the case. While in some cases, in some neighborhoods, it's kind of considered the standard, in general, as you move in price points in our area, the addition of an upgraded kitchen, upgraded bathrooms, and things like that don't necessarily translate into an increased price or value. And one reason why is that home appraisers actually aren't really looking at it as much anymore because the standard has risen so high. And the other thing too is a lot of people that are purchasing homes kind of already have in mind that they're going to modify those things, so they're not necessarily always looking for the top of the line because they kind of want to do it themselves. Generally at certain price points, especially over 400,000 or 500,000, there's kind of a standard of what it should be. But aside from that, as long as it's there, they're kind of okay with it. You really don't get any more money for it. Now, the things that you do get a return on value for in certain cases are a roof, upgraded or working HVAC system or installed HVAC system, as well as any additional square footage that has been added on to the home. Now, it's not always given that you're going to get the entire investment back. However, it can bump you into a new price bracket. The best thing to do is talk to an experienced agent that's used to working in that market, so they can kind of guide you to how those upgrades are going to affect the ultimate price of your home, and more importantly, the return on value that you get, so you can keep the most money in your pocket as you move on to your next move. The next thing that I would strongly suggest you think about is the home being staged properly and marketed properly. And the reason why is because there are a lot of different people and a lot of different personality types in this world. Some people are visual, some people are more online driven, some people are more in-person driven, some people are more into numbers, obviously. Some people are those people that need to feel it, they have the emotions that go along with it. And there's a lot of things that go into that. A huge part of it is staging, decluttering, cleaning, and creating a great curb appeal for your home, especially in the first half of the year as we're moving into the seasons, but kind of everything in the Northeast is sort of dead around us. Super important to understand how those things affect all your buyers, because ultimately what we're trying to do is to get your home to appeal to every single buyer possible. And while you as a homeowner have lived there for a long time and got everything the way that you like it, and the things that are important to you you focus on, and then some of the things that maybe aren't as important to you maybe don't focus on, it's really important to get a second set of eyes that can kind of view your house or your property that you're selling as an investment through the eyes of a buyer, so that we can present your home in the best way possible. The next thing to think about is when you're going to sell your house and what your goals are in selling the house. So if your goal is convenience versus how much money you're going to make, it's really important to time the market properly. And what I mean by convenience is sometimes people with kids or just busy jobs in general don't want to move during the school year. They want to time the sale of their home for over the summer. And while we're lucky in that in Delaware and Chester County, we do sell homes literally every single day, and we don't see too many seasonal dips. There are certain times where it's the best time to put your house on the market versus others in order to get the most buyers in your home, to make the most offers possible, and ultimately net you the most money. Now on the reverse end, there are times where convenience is a factor, and we need to think about that for what your ultimate goals are. But it's really important to speak with a local agent that understands what the ebbs and flows are in each community, each school district, and how that's going to affect your overall goals. The next thing, and probably one of the biggest things that's very difficult to time right now in the seller's market, is the contracts that are involved, or the potential contracts that are involved, if you are planning on purchasing another home after selling the home that you're in, which most people are, unless you're kind of in your last downsize. But there are a few things to consider. The first is that for the most part, most people with one home, when they are getting a mortgage pre-approval for their next home, that pre-approval is generally contingent on you selling the home. And what that means is that you're not going to actually get the mortgage for your house until the other one is already sold and closed out. Now, that's important to understand with both contracts as you're working them side by side, because of the timing of the closing, the banks being able to allocate funds from one bank to the next, one mortgage to the next, closing out the paperwork. And then also, depending on what type of mortgage you're using, specifically if it is a VA or FHA mortgage, all those things play a big factor. But then just in the physical process of you moving out of your house and into your next house, there are a few different things that we need to consider. One, in the process of making offers on your next house, there is a addendum to your contract, an offer that we're going to have to tack in if we're planning it a certain way, which is a contingency of sale addendum. Other things to consider are options like rent backs, and there's even some special specific loans called bridge loans that we can talk about if you had questions. But the timing of everything that's going on right now, and making sure that your move is smooth and you're basically not left out of a house essentially, or rushing around, and that everything works seamlessly in what's already a super hectic and stressful situation of packing and moving and selling your home, that everything moves as smoothly as possible. So it's super important to speak with an agent that has an experienced track record of doing that and can present you with different options, and you can then decide what works best for you and ultimately your family and your goals to move to your next home. And then the last thing that I really think that people need to think about, that maybe they don't think about enough just because of the news and the media right now, is that yes, house prices are going up, and yes, there are multiple offer situations. However, right now, where we stand in 2022, going into through the first half of the year, is that what we've learned coming out of the last half of 2021 is that the highest offer isn't necessarily the best offer. And there's a few reasons for that. The biggest is that just because somebody offers the highest offer doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to appraise. Another reason could possibly be things such as buyers asking for seller's assist, inspections being waived and not waived, as well as contingencies of them selling their house if there is a situation like that. But essentially, just because you get the highest offer on your house, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best. And that is why ultimately one of the best things you can do is really have a real estate agent that works with you in the process of selling your house, so that when you get these offers presented to you, you can lay them all out and go through them and understand the ins and outs and the intricacies of them and which one will net you the most money. But then two, make sure that you have an agent that can give you examples of times where they've been able to take a deal and negotiate it into creating the best scenario for the seller, because sometimes the offer that you get isn't necessarily the final offer. And if you have a great real estate agent that can work with the buyer's agent, we can come to an amicable and copacetic agreement in order to get you the best deal, and that works for all your goals. So several things to think about. Obviously, not everything to think about, but really the best thing you can do is contact an agent like myself. We can meet, talk about what your goals are, kind of get my eyes on the property and give you a idea of what everything looks like in terms of meeting your goals, and also in terms of what your house looks like from a buyer's perspective. So I'd love to get a chance to talk to you, work with you, and at least get you started on the right path into your future goals of selling your home and moving on to your next. So my name's Adam. Again, you can call me or text me anytime or email me. My number is 610-442-9371. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day.